Hi guys, it's Thursday night. It's time to sew. Let's get going here. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take these pillows tops right here that I made in the last class, and I am going to turn them into just regular throw pillows. So I have my pillow top finished. Now here's how I determine how big to make the pillow top. So you get your pillow form from the store. And it'll tell you what size it is, but don't believe it. They can be wrong. So you want to actually measure it. So anyway, this one is 14 inches by 14 inches. So therefore, actually, this one was indeed 14 by 14. Now I'm going to I cut my pillow top 14 inches by 14 inches. And you think, why didn't I do at least 14 and a half inches? Well, the reason is I don't like my the pillow tops to be loose. I like them to be compressed a little bit so that the pillow is nice and firm. So that way I cut mine 14 inches by 14 inches exactly. I'm going to make a simple, just a fold over top, and what I'm going to do is just put a button enclosure on here. So here's the fabric for the backs. And yeah, it's a lot bigger, but I'm going to this is for both halves. But what I need to do is I need to hem this, and I'm not real sure how big I want to hem it. So what I do is I start to finish it at first. So on one end, I'm going to fold over two little bits. Just this will be the inside, like this. And I'm going to fold that close, and I'm going to top stitch that. Okay, that will be the inside. The other side's going to be bigger. It's going to just be folded over 1/4 of an inch. And then about an inch. Like that. In order to accommodate. And it needs to be wider than the buttons. And here's the buttons that I have selected for it. So anyway, so let's go ahead and go to the sewing machine. And this way it takes out a lot of measuring and guessing how big you want to make the back. Okay, so let's go to the sewing machine. I have put white thread in my machine and a regular foot with a size 11 needle. Okay, so on one end, I'm going to fold this over just a teeny bit. And then fold it over another 1/4 of an inch. And actually, I'm going to use some of my favorite Elmer's washable school glue and just give it a light touch up with this glue. Remember, it washes completely out. And then I'm just turning that over just a little bit and then heat setting it down. Okay, see, I don't need pins, and I've got a nice straight smooth line. On this opposite side, again, I'm going to just do a tiny little fold here. And this, I need to stitch this, make this hem on the top just a little bit bigger than the button. Not much, just a little. And press it. Okay. Because I'm going to be putting buttonholes in here, I'm going to use some of this fusible interfacing. Just put it inside here. And a little bit here. And I've cut it a little less. I think I left this. It should be about an inch right here. Like that. Press it in. Oops. I want this to be about an inch. You could measure it if you like. And that only had fusible on one side, so we know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my glue here. Press it down. Okay. Put the lid on and press. And I am going to stitch, just edge stitch it on both sides. Inside. I originally cut this piece 14 wide by 17, so by the time we sew it in, it should be 14 by 14. Now remember, I didn't measure it. Here's my finished piece. I've already hemmed it. I'm going to measure over 7 inches and just mark it. 7 inches and make a mark. Alright. I'm going to cut it on that line. Let me put this on the diagonal so it can cut right here. Okay. Now, the two cut ends, the two finished edges is now the center. So one is going to go over the other, and I'm going to overlap this until this measurement is 14 inches. Okay, can overlap some more. A little bit more. Here is 14 inches. All right. So I'm going to actually just mark it. I'm just going to put this mark here because this is where I know it has to line up. Okay. And now I'm going to determine where I want my buttonholes. So I'm going to put the buttonholes probably one here and one here. I'm just going to mark where one is, fold it in half. Here's where the other one is. Okay. Now, I've got this marked. And yes, it's in red. I normally wouldn't do red, but this is a friction marker, and it's going to be covered by a button anyway. So now we're going to make the buttonholes. First off, I'll make the buttonholes. Okay, I've selected to do an ordinary buttonhole. Check your owner's manual on your machine on how you do buttonholes. On this, the Baby Locks and the Brothers, it's all pretty much the same. So I'm going to, first of all, here is says A. I'm using the A foot right there. It says A there. So I'm going to open up the slider, put the button in, and clamp it down. Put the button on the machine, the buttonhole foot on the machine. Okay. I like to start with my thread already under the foot. There's no slot, so I have to lower the foot. There we go, one stitch up, and I'm good. That brings my thread underneath. Okay, so now they're always going to go backwards, so I'm going to start with my foot right there in the center, right here, right along the edge, which is where I want it to start to stitch. Here, they always go backwards first, so I go where the front of the buttonhole would be. Here's my marking. I want to line, there's little red lines there, so I'm going to line those up. And this is where it's going to start, and it's going to be right in that center. So I want to lower the buttonhole lever. And now it's ready to stitch. So reinforces it first. honestly, could that be any easier? And there is your perfect buttonhole. And they'll all look the same. So what I'm going to do here to open up this buttonhole is I'm going to start at the end with a seam ripper, only cut to the middle. Okay, this one doesn't want to cut. Let me try this end. It's a little on the, I got a little bit of a cut. Okay. I don't want to keep pushing it in that same direction. I had already made a cut through this side. So now I push that through and now my buttonhole is open. So all I have to do is press on it. Press and the mark will go away. There, you have a perfect buttonhole. Right there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the other buttonhole. Okay. There we go. What I like about this machine is it makes every buttonhole exactly the same. You cannot go wrong. Okay, finished. Yeah. Okay, I've already put the buttonholes on, so I've matched up the buttonhole with the buttonhole on the top. The button side will go down. We'll put those buttons on afterwards, not right now. So I want to double check this. It's 14 inches. Okay, I'm going to pin at this end. Actually, I'm going to put the pins going out. Check over here. And 14 it is. Pin right here. And I'll put one pin in the middle just to hold it for now. Okay. Now we're ready to assemble the pillow. So I'm going to take my front. Okay. And you have to decide whether you want the buttonholes to go this way or vertical. It's up to you. I like them with the pocket part, you know, the overlap down. So I'm going to put this right sides together. Okay, and I'm going to pin it. Just going to pin the right here. So I want to get out my cutting mat. A lot of times throw pillows look kind of have I call them fox ears, where they stick out really wide over here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to slightly indent. So normally, okay, I'm going to take a mark about 3 inches away. I'll do this in red so you can see it really well. Okay, about 3 inches away here. Or anywhere between 3 and 5 inches. It depends on how big the pillow is. And 1/4 out. So I'm going to make this mark here. And that is my new cutting line. Okay, same thing here. 1/4 inch in and about 3 inches away. I'm tapering this out to nothing around 3. 1/4 inches. And this is actually, if I were to cut this, this is going to be my new edge. This gives it a slightly rounded taper on these corners so that when your pillow is in the pillow form is inside the pillow, then that's going to spread out, but it won't look like fox ears anymore. So I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. So let's see. 1/4 inch in and about 3 inches out. And do that again here. 1, 2, 3 inches out. Okay, then we will go to the machine and sew it. Okay, I'm going to return this back to a straight stitch. So I'm going to raise up the buttonhole lever and remove the foot. Take the button out of it. And then I'm going to just put my J-foot back on, and I have it set for 1/4 inch using the right side because I don't have my 1/4 inch foot handy. And now I'm just simply going to sew all the way around 1/4 inch. I'm just going to sew it. Now this little trick right here to round off these corners, that will not work if you've got a fabric that has an obvious straight up and down print, because you will really notice it then. So this is for one that doesn't have an obvious stripe. Okay. Okay, remove the pins. Okay, I'm going to turn it inside or right sides out. On the corner, if you take your finger and press and close that, then your point is 90% done. 90% turned. All done. I don't even think I need to get the point turner out. Okay. I'm going to just take my friction pen. There it is. Take my pen and mark for my buttons. So I'm just going to go in the center here and here and mark for those buttons. I could also put these on by machine, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to sew the buttons on by hand. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and put this on the pillow form. Okay, here's our finished pillow. This is the one that was done on the sewing machine. Here's the back. So you need to give it a little more shaping here. But here's the back. Buttons are sewn on, and that turned out really nice. This one I need to get another pillow form for. I thought I had two. And this is the one that's done by the computer in the hoop. I really can't tell any difference. They both look exactly the same. So, in the hoop, on the machine, in the hoop or on the machine, it's up to you. Both are absolutely lovely. Okay, until next week, I'll see you. Bye.